after yesterday's Project Cars 3 announcement, I got in contact with the men behind the madness, and as a result, we have some early access footage. Now, I hear you guys saying, oh, we've seen this footage on some other YouTube channels. Indeed you have, but you haven't heard it analysed or talked about, like you will do here. Welcome back to the Man With No Hair channel. It's the Gamer Muscle YouTube channel. Subscribe and like, or don't. Right, so this Project Cars 3 footage has caused a right raucous on the internet, especially within the Project Cars 2 fan base and the Simulation Zone fan base. And perhaps rightly so in some ways because, well, look at those icons, look at the UI, and look at that chase cam action. Super GT's getting excited.
Hello viewers.
And I have to say, once my biscuit had gone down and my tea was finished, this did raise a few alarm bells with me, and it certainly wasn't what I was initially expecting as the first release footage for Project Cars 3, following on from Project Cars 2. And that is maybe close-up shots of the tyres flexing and some stats on the suspension geometry. You know, the stuff that no one else cares about, but us sim racers have a weird obsession with. Now, after watching the footage a few times, what becomes apparent is that this is being played with a gamepad. Or at least I hope so, because whoever's playing this is soaring away at the wheel like a lumberjack during an earthquake that's been punched by an Olympic boxer. To put it mildly, their steering input isn't exactly the smoothest. It's also very clear that the game has a ton of assists on. Outside of the corner markers and everything, the sort of graphical assist to tell you where to go, it really looks to me like there's stability control, braking assist, you know, a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, you can hear from the tyres it sounds like there's like some traction control and stuff going on. And without playing the game or even seeing the game without any of these assists and maybe a field of view that's not full-on Millennium Falcon 1000 light years per hour, I mean, look how fast it looks. Even in the cockpit view, it's ridiculous. Without turning all that off and setting it up how you know sim racers like to do stuff, or how I like to do stuff when I'm in my sim rig, really can't evaluate it. So yeah, I mean from the handling perspective, really it's going to be a case of seeing a little bit more toned down footage to really draw a proper conclusion. Any of you that have played you know, any of the other sims, AC, R Factor 2, and any of them, if you put all the assists on them and you're playing with a gamepad, they don't look particularly realistic. So that, you know, you have to play the simulator like a simulator with the equipment and set up correctly, otherwise it's, you know, it's not going to resemble a simulator. So I'm you know, cautiously optimistic on that component. The proof is always in the pudding, as they say. Graphics, though, I think it looks pretty nice. There's been a lot of comments of people going, oh, it looks terrible. And I think they've been distracted from the sim racing side by stuff that are settings that on the PC at least, and maybe I don't know on the console, but on the PC I'd assume you'd be able to turn off, like the settings that were in Project Cars 2, like the chromatic aberration, motion blur, and then of course like the crazy field of view. It's going to look very different when you set all that up differently. So at the end of the day, it's the madness engine. I don't know about you guys, but you know, when we've been live streaming Project Cars 2 and you've got the sunrise coming up, especially if you're playing in VR, this better have VR support. I hope it does. Come on, VR support, you know, VR or no buy, as they say. Get those comments coming. Get those comments coming, VR fans. But, you know, Project Cars 2, Automobilista 2, I mean, even Project Cars 1, look absolutely stunning at times. And seems to me, if you were to turn off the chromatic aberration, the vignette, and lower the field of view, this would look very similar to, like I say, Project Cars 2 and previous Madness engine games. So, yeah, I mean, this is the thing, guys. It's all like up in the air because this footage shows it in a very sort of mass market gamepad, high speed, wide field of view, driving to the car in front way. Although actually, saying that with the driving into the cars, it does look like the AI is actually pushing and attacking. You know, which is, even in arcade games, just in driving games in general, you often have quite passive AI. And within the driving sims, as I was saying before when we were playing R Factor 2, it's like most of the AI is terrible, but R-Factor 2 AI is particularly good if you set it up well. Race Room AI is actually quite good as well, but it's something that's often a problem. So it'll all just be really interesting to see. In my mind, and based off what Ian Bell has said on Twitter and just the general context of everything, I think, well, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. It looks like this is the sort of promotion for people to get a wider market into it. And, you know, I think it'll probably likely have the same aspects that you had in Project Cars 2, but with more content, because SMS love to put lots of content in their game. I mean, it took us we did like a 14-hour stream to go through all the content in Project Cars 2. So we'll just see how it goes. I will keep following it and keep up to date as I get more information and news, and I'll keep you guys abreast. I'll keep you abreast of everything. Don't want this video to go on too long. There's only so much you can draw out a 5-minute video clip. YouTubers, they're the worst people on earth. But, you know, hopefully you found this interesting. Hopefully you found it enjoyable. Click that subscribe button if you want to keep up to date. Give us a like, and I will see you all very soon in the next video. Happy tea drinking, and goodbye.